What's going on, everybody? This is Sonamix, and today I'm going to give my review for WWE SmackDown, June 14th, 2013. And overall, this show, it was okay. I wouldn't say it was a great or good show, but it was okay for the matter, with a very surprise ending, which I'll get to that in a moment. But without further ado, let's get on with the review. So the night kicks off with Daniel Bryan coming out, and he cuts a promo, and he goes along saying how that he's kind of looked at as the weak link, as he's been talking about with that himself for like the past few weeks or more. And then Kane comes out, and Daniel Bryan just kind of loses it and says that you're the weak link, Kane. And then Randy Orton comes out, and he tries to fix everything. And then the Shield comes out on the Titantron. And then basically later on, we find out that they're going to have a match in the main event. This was actually a pretty interesting yet good promo here. I actually enjoyed this pretty much. I kind of like the fact how Randy Orton came out and he's trying to calm the two down. And Kane kind of made a little funny statement when he said, are we breaking up? Which kind of made it sound wrong in a way. So I kind of found that to be a little bit funny. But it was an enjoyable promo. I definitely enjoyed it for an opener. I give it a 2.25 out of 5. Also, really quick, if I sound a little weird, I want to apologize. I got a stuffy nose. I came down with some allergies a couple of days ago, so I might sound a little stuffed up, so bear with me here. Up next, we get our first match of the night. We get Sheamus versus Antonio Cesaro. I was actually surprised that this was a 12-minute match, and for 12 minutes, this was a pretty damn good match. I like the fact that they gave these guys 12 minutes, and it wasn't like a squash 4-minute match. Although, despite with the commercial, I might give this a low rating, which I'm pretty sure this was a 3-star type match. But if this was a 3-star match, if anybody got the app on their cell phone, tell me how it was during the commercial. But for what I seen on TV, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5. It might be a 3, but I don't own the stupid app thing, or do I own a cell phone for that matter? So I can't really say if it was a 3-star match or not. But I'll give it a 2.5, maybe a 2.75 just to be generous. It was pretty good for what I saw. Up next, we get the theater-long Dolph Ziggler backstage segment, and of course the sponsor with the Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Didn't really find it nothing too interesting. Kind of the same thing on Raw, how they were promoting it in a way, and yeah, it was basically a promotion for the advertisement of whatever Carl's Jr. is advertising. Didn't really find no interest in it, to be honest with you. I give it a 1.25 out of 5. Up next, we get the Great Khali versus Heath Slater. Terrible match, barely unwatchable. And would somebody tell me how Heath Slater gets up after about 30 seconds from the Khali chop? Or it wasn't even 30 seconds. It was literally like 10 seconds. Terrible match. Don't really want to get into it. 0.75 out of 5. Definitely the worst match of the night. Up next, we get Chris Jericho and Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston in a tag team match. This one was pretty solid. I enjoyed this tag team. Went on for about, I think it was over 10 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And they each had their fair share. Dolph Ziggler looked impressive coming back after that concussion. Big E Langston looked good. And then Jericho and Del Rio, they looked good on their parts. In the end, of course, Alberto Del Rio and Chris Jericho win with the Alberto Del Rio play possum and getting the roll-up in the end. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. It was an enjoyable match. I found it enjoyable. Up next, we get the Chris Jericho, Paul Heyman backstage segment. This was a pretty good backstage segment. Probably one of the best in quite a long while, actually. I just like the fact how that Paul Heyman said that UBC the best in the world, and Chris Jericho said his share of thing. And this Sunday, Payback will definitely be seeing the best in the world versus the best in the world at what he does. I give the backstage segment a 2.75 out of 5. Up next, we get Oksana versus Caitlyn. This is an NA. Basically, they're in the ring, and Caitlyn just starts brawling all over on Oksana. Match never got started, and that's basically all she wrote. I did kind of like the fact how Caitlyn, slapped the referee and was kind of attacking him in a way. I kind of like that part a little bit. But nonetheless, this gets an NA. Up next, we get Curtis Axel versus Wade Barrett. Before the match begins, Wade Barrett makes a proposal to Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman that they should wrestle. And then The Miz comes out, and he basically does the cheap cheer of, say, let's see these guys fight, and then he gets the whole fight chant going. Not really much of a good promo. And the match itself wasn't all that great either. It was only 2 minutes. They did a few moves, and Curtis Axel hits that swinging net breaker move, and that's basically the end of the story. I give it a star out of 5. Wasn't all that great. And then finally, the main event, The Shield versus Team Hell No and Randy Orton. Great match as always. Every time The Shield has a 3-on-3 match, always a phenomenal match. Match went on for, I think it was about 14 minutes-ish around there. And surprisingly, The Shield suffers their first loss, which caught me by surprise because I thought they were going to suffer their first loss at SummerSlam, or at least on a pay-per-view in general. But of course, SummerSlam would make much more sense. And Daniel Bryan is the one to put the submits, to put the label lock on Seth Rollins, making Seth Rollins tap. And the biggest crowd reaction that you probably have heard, the crowd reaction was probably the same as Dolph Ziggler winning the World Heavyweight Championship. The crowd went nuts. The crowd went entirely nuts. And this just proves to show that Daniel Bryan is completely over. Completely over. And you know what? This is what I hope happens. He's in the Money in the Bank, wins the Money in the Bank. Daniel Bryan challenges John Cena at SummerSlam, and he beats him at SummerSlam. I hope this happens. And if it does happen, Daniel Bryan will probably get the same crowd reaction that CM Punk did in Chicago at Money in the Bank in 2011. I hope it happens. Please, WWE, do not blow this opportunity. Stop riding on John Cena. It's time to ride on somebody new, and it's Daniel Bryan. Give it a 3.75 out of 5. And you know what? I am a bit shocked and saddened that the Shield's streak did end. But you know what? If it builds up the Daniel Bryan weak link storyline, or the underdog storyline that I like to call it, you know what? I think it was a perfect build and definitely the right moment. Give it a 3.75 out of 5. Like I said, overall, it was an okay, but not really too good, despite the fact that there were 3 matches / segments that were, well, actually, no, there were 3 matches below a star, and everything else was a 2, a 2.5 and above. In the end, I gotta give it a 5.75 out of 5. Like I said, it was okay. The main event was definitely memorable, and I would definitely check out the. I would definitely will check out the main event if I was you guys. It's definitely something worth watching. So once again, 5.75 out of 10 for the overall show. Alright, well, this is my review for WWE SmackDown, June 14th. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please do leave your comments on the bottom of this video. Tell me how you guys enjoyed SmackDown. And until then, I will see you guys later.